So, Entity Unnamed Podcast, episode 1, we have Tom Sinclair, To The Point Transportation.
Hello.
Hashtag Bin the Mega Trainer. In a borrowed shirt.
In a borrowed shirt, yeah, because I'm too poor to bring my
Tom
own.
hidden with the stupid red dash MX5, S14. We talked about MX5 just now. And Jack.
With that crusty MX5.
Yeah, a crusty MX5 that he has yet to drift, but he's going to learn to drift in next year. So,
Good luck.
good fun. You're here because you did a post literally last night saying, would anyone be interested in seeing this as a video? And I said, fuck yeah, that sounds fun. So we thought the first podcast would be good with Tom and his special roasting skills that everyone seems to, well, like
And dislike.
as in equal measure, really.
Yeah. So
People love to hate. That's
I
the
mean,
thing, isn't it?
yeah, I on my Instagram, occasionally I do and I hate the wording, rate or hate on my story. People send their stories in and I hate everyone.
Where did that come from? Where did you start doing it?
I think one of my friends did it and I didn't agree with how gentle they were. And
I'm gonna fuck you up.
It's not to say I want to attack people, but it's the amount of people that have like their car submitted and the person tries to find nice bits in it. And the UK car community is inherently shit.
It's surprisingly so, like, there's still stereotypical, like, body-kitted Astras with pop and bangs that go to a show and they seem to get show spots. And it's like...
And a weird amount of tension from punters as well.
Yeah.
A weird amount.
What's happening?
I mean, like, I understand that. Like, I like 90s looking cars and I like that Max Powery style.
Yeah, but that's like another realm, isn't it?
Yeah, but that's max power though, because there is, well, like we saw at Gravity, there is just a really badly modern modified Astra. That still gets traction.
Yeah, there is certainly...
I think its execution is the main thing, isn't it? You can see that it's been badly painted or they just have thrown bits together and hoped for the best. Whereas if they'd maybe thought it out more and painted it properly, and you can kind of respect the effort that's gone into it. That's what max power cars are to me. They sort of spent ages making that body kit fit. It might be hideous to most people, but it fits. It actually has a vision to it.
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly a UK thing to fixate on one component of your car, whether that be horrendous paint, a red dashboard, a bad body kit.
Oh shit!
Hey, hear me now.
Back the fuck up.
This is your podcast, not mine.
I did that.
Been roasted in 5 minutes.
That was sort of like, it started from that. Like, I thought, this is so ridiculous. No one's going to like it. Not even I like doing this. I thought, but I don't want a boring backdash.
Yeah.
The whole car's red. And I thought at that point I was going to paint the wheels red. I was going to do everything red just because.
I actually think it works. Like, I don't hate it.
And then weirdly, everyone seemed to start liking it. And I thought, no, I actually wanted you to say, what the fuck have you done to your S14? But it's ended up being a positive thing, even though it's just some rag on a dash. But
I mean, and this is another thing to fixate on. Like, you wanted people to ask the question.
essentially.
But there's a difference between wanting people to question your ideas and finding it funny, and just blatantly building a bad car to try and annoy people. But you're not annoying. You're like a fly that won't go away and then flies down your throat and punches you inside your lungs repeatedly, because you're not being funny or ironic at a point. You're just being a dick.
Yeah.
Well, I honestly thought you fucked it up. I thought you just tried to do the dash, and then when you sort of overran and then just kept going with the door cards and then the...
Yeah, well,
I was like, oh, you're doing all of it.
It started with the dash, and I thought, that looks cool. I should do the door cards. I should do the roof. And then it just ended up being all the trim until I had to take it all out again for the cage.
How much velvet do you want? Yes.
It was just this horrible eBay fabric that you meant to make dresses out of, apparently. But yeah.
But again, you did it ironically for yourself, and if people ask questions, they ask questions.
Well,
it wasn't...
It was based off, like, Bossazuku. Or is it Bossazuku that do that?
They have...
I've seen blue...
We're going to get corrected by the comments.
Oh, 100%, that's
Hello.
fine.
What is the actual term? But I've seen exactly the same fabric put on hot rods and, well, Bossazuku-esque cars.
Well, and the bike, I think the bikes have a lot on the seats for that as well.
And that's where it originated. And I thought, oh, cool, I'll just do it like this, you know.
Yeah, and I mean, that's fair enough. Like, you've done it because you think it's funny or relevant to a certain style that you've seen, and
it had some sort of relevance to.
Yeah, it has some relevance in what you're doing. Like drifting is inherently stupid.
And that's, yes.
So doing stupid things in conjunction that are still relevant is fine. When you take your standard Polo, remove the exhaust, tint the headlights chameleon and the windscreen, and then go, this is the sickest car ever, and hold it on limiter all day, I'm culprit of limiters.
One of the last, we've all been there, but one of the last times I went to a car meet, so to speak, in a multi-story, there was a guy with a 6M Polo, and
God's vehicle.
I was like, oh, he's had a bit of an accident, and he happened to walk up to us as we were looking at this. Monster cans on the dash.
Oh, hell yeah.
Obviously.
And I was like, what happened here, mate? And he said, oh, no, I deliberately kicked the shit out of it and then drift stitched it up because that's just the fashion, isn't it? And I was like, no. You are the worst human being I've ever met. I just walked off. I was like, I do not want to be associated with any of this.
Oh, God, really?
I never went back to a car meet.
And that's a nice roundup as to why I do what I do to people on Instagram.
It's like, you've not made the best out of a bad situation. You've deliberately fucked your car up because drift stitch is cool. No, it's not. It's a thing to get you out of a bind.
Yeah, it's a relevance to use, and that's the important thing. And that is the biggest thing that sort of annoyed me with other people's Instagram posts and stories of being rate or hate, because there was never any hate. And it's not to say that I hate everyone and I want to be mean to people. It's just to say, no, you're pussyfooting around. I'm just going to say what I think. And that's not necessarily correct or incorrect, and you can agree or disagree with my opinions. You can come and insult me. My cars are terrible.
Oh, so you can insult your car collection.
My car collection is a mess of vehicles that don't work because they've either been crashed or I've bought them when they don't work and not finished them.
And then proceeded to just make them work even worse if they do.
It's true.
It's like, that works far too well. I'm just going to absolutely fuck that Instagram.
That's pretty much it. That's me and MX-5s, but I like an MX-5 a bit too much, and I just destroy them.
Before we jump into the roast list that you have, I think it's like, 30, 40 cars?
There's a lot, yeah.
How many vehicles do you currently own, and in what guises are they? You've got like a couple of drift cars that are completely fucked, aren't they?
Yeah, so I think I've got 12 cars at the moment.
Right.
The Jag is the most important, let's
and
be honest.
they all round up to about £1,000 in value.
Yeah, in total.
Scrap value, that's weight.
So I've got 2 K70 Corollas in varying states of disrepair and or in the countryness.
Honestly, thought you were going to say various states of tune. It's like, no,
disrepair. I've got a 94 Jaguar XJ40 3.2 Sport, which is ruined. There will be a photo of that one. I have got an L Grand, which is broken and needs a turbo. An MX-5, which is multicoloured and terrible, and I've only just bought.
Have you bought most of these cars broken, or did you break them? Right.
The L Grand I bought broken because it was very, very cheap, and I wanted an L Grand, and I went, yeah, I'll fix this, and it's been there for 4 months, and I've not touched it. The Jag, someone had cut the cats off because they were worth more than the car. So again, I paid very little for that, and I don't need to, I don't worry about cats or anything because it's not going to see the road really.
Yeah.
Because I've just made it stupid. It's a trailer queen. It wasn't intended to be. It just.
That's the way
I put really dumb wheels on it and then was like, oh, this doesn't work anymore. So now it
trailer
just
queen.
sits there. The Corollas are projects. One of them runs and drives and is legitimately still at the guy's house I bought it from. It's been 8 months.
So what? The only one that could actually run the best, you just still don't have.
But it's not got an engine in it. It's not got the right engine in it.
Right.
So
I was about to say, so how does it run and drive?
I bought a Corolla KE70 estate, and it's got a 4K factory engine in it on a 4-speed manual on the floor. Sick. It came with a 4AGE on twin Makunis with a T55 speed and a full 886 underneath it, and I've just not picked it up. I don't have the space, the time, the money to do so because I'm busy with business and so on. And the guy's not told me it needs to be out of his storage. So in his storage, it shall live. And that's basically it.
Storage, great.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. It's not in his way. So, and he's not nagged me about it. Plus, I don't think he particularly wants it gone.
He's probably forgotten that he sold it.
He may have forgotten.
I swear I sold that 8 months ago.
It's still in his collection, but he just doesn't have to pay the money out for it.
Exactly that. It's my problem now. Yeah. And then, one of them's on its way from Thailand. The Jeep works every day. That's my work truck. That's pretty boring. My Laurel is, rest in pepperoni. It has had a shunt, to say the least. But it's sort.
This is the one you described to me as. Oh, this is the one you described to me as more rust than actual colour.
So when I bought the Laurel, I paid £1,200 for it from Birmingham. It
Oh.
was a good sign. It was a good
Yeah,
start.
all the stars
always
were
avoid
aligning
any
there.
advert that says Birmingham. I'm just like, oh, that's a great car, but no.
Yeah, well, I almost deliberately bought it from Birmingham because it was very, very cheap.
Well, it
and
will be. It's in
like,
Birmingham.
trying to buy a Laurel nowadays, and I thought it was a 32, and I was wrong, and it's a C31, which means it's not compatible with anything, and it's a bit awkward. And then I took it to a drift day, which wasn't basically I bought it because I wanted a cool cruiser. I've wanted a Laurel for years, and I realised very quickly that it was quite rotten, and I probably
crusty.
couldn't put it back together. But it was bad. If I hadn't bought it, that car would have gone round a banger track or been crushed.
Yeah,
Like,
not what you want to see.
It was
happen
at
to it,
that
is it?
point of disrepair.
It's better to be smashed off walls.
Yeah, so I put it together enough to do a drift day. I literally welded the diff, turned up, and that was Street Heroes 1, Black Flag Labs event at Birmingham Wheels. And it was terrible, but it was funny.
Yeah.
Like you could see through the rear pockets and everything. It was absolutely hanging.
To me, that's kind of what drifting has always been.
And that was the thing that people like enjoyed about it. It was the phrase I've used numerous times is endearingly shit. And
You know, like you see some retro builds that are just, as you say, so fucked, but they're cool because you're keeping them alive. And
yeah, and I
spirit
wasn't
of them,
even
so-
trying to keep it alive, really. It was just like I'd
I
bought
tended
it.
to kill it.
I'd bought it, welded the diff, and took it to a drift day. There was no thought behind any
Yeah.
of it. And then I was like, oh, I'm gonna manual swap it and do this, and I bought a manual box, and then proceeded to struggle desperately to find any of the other parts to make it work. And I missed out on a manual conversion and this and that. And eventually, one of my friends, George, said, do you want to buy an RB20 DE? And I was like, well, it makes more power than my L series, and like you can buy compatible bits and boxes, and it should be, in theory, more reliable. Because any time the original L24 that was in that Laurel went above 6,500 RPM, it wound its own lifters off.
Detonation.
They were
nice.
adjustable. It was so funny. But yeah, I went out and did no Streeto on Christmas with some mates, and I remember having to do a tap it in a Tesco at 3 a.m. to get home. But like, it is what it is.
We have all been in that situation.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. And it was like a learning experience. And then this RB happened. I paid £200 for a 20 DE. And I was like, this is it.
Fair play.
This is a sick idea. And then I paid £238 delivered for a gearbox like 2 days later. So I slapped it together.
They still don't exist anymore.
They still do, because I keep buying RB20 DEs. But yeah, I sort of like slapped it together, put it in the engine bay, and then went, I don't know what I'm doing. So I sent it down to Freddie Sharvel. He made some engine mounts and a loom, and like got it working enough. We finished it the night before Golspie at 3 a.m. last year, so like a year ago today.
Yeah.
And I turned up with a car that had no lock, no anything, and like 140 horsepower and a ridiculous diff, and it was just terrible to drive. Then I got the sills welded and everything, and we sorted it out enough, and we cut the knuckles and put a handbrake in it that worked. And then I basically got like 8 months of drifting out of it, and like
good going.
12 events. I did 90 hours of seat time or something in it before
Fair
I
play.
wrote it off at Crimond badly. Like, I sort of tipped in, went, oh, I've not gone deep enough, went for the left foot brake to tuck the front in, and I just locked them up and put myself into the wall.
I hope you've got a picture of that.
No, I don't.
Damn it.
Not of the crash. I've got photos of the car afterwards.
Yeah, no, we need that. And then we'll put it like this.
And then I was lucky enough to do a Drift My Ride with Craig McLeod of Driftland fame, doing the Drift My Ride series after I wrote the car off. And that video's not been released yet. I'm just waiting. I'm waiting on it. He's got to finish the BDC season. He's busy, like, fair enough. But I'm really excited to see my car be driven by Craig on the internet and it be immortalised in terrible fame.
In 1080p.
In 1080p.
On
What's the
YouTube.
plan for it? Just going to keep it as is and just, it's a drift car.
No,
effectively?
it's dead.
Oh, right.
I have a firm sort of belief that you should at least try and keep your drift car presentable and together.
Yeah.
And like, I get made fun of a lot because I buy absolute garbage and it's like none of it's ever nice, but there's a difference between it not being nice and actually being kind of cool and just being fucked.
Yeah.
Just being presented.
Ruined.
Yeah, like there's such a thing in this country for having like an E36 touring that has been bashed off so many walls, it's now a compact.
Well, you know when they removed the headlights and replaced it with like a light bar because, I don't know, Norrie Yarrow might have done it. And it's like, no, that was just out of necessity again. Like, don't just take a mint E36 and then remove its front end, put a forklift front end on it. Like,
Yeah.
What are you doing? Like,
We just
Crash
have
it first, then you can do that.
Yeah, the UK has a penchant for just destroying cars.
Yeah.
And like mine have been destroyed as a result of seat time and my poor ownership.
Yeah.
But some people have the intent to destroy those cars from the off, and that is like the difference. I'm not saying my cars are
Sacrilege.
good,
no.
but
And it's not. That's what people seem to jump on straight away. It's like, well, your car. It's like, yeah, no, we're not saying that. It's just we're saying that I'm not going to go buy a car. Like I would happily get an E36 practice car, but I'm not going to then put a bull bar on the front of it and take its lights out because
it's an E36
why?
practice car. Yeah, it's pointless.
Just have it as a car, normal looking, and just
It being destroyed as a consequence of use is fine. Like
Yeah.
drift cars
You're
are
making
going
do.
to be crashed eventually.
Yeah.
It's how it happens. And if you've never had a crash in a drift car, you're not trying hard enough. That's it. Dory Fest was excellent because people were trying very hard. There were quite a few big crashes
shiny fiberglass
in
cars.
very shiny cars, and
That
like
weren't so shiny afterwards.
no,
which
and
is good.
that's
The
fine.
way it should be.
Like I much more enjoy that, and there are people I know that have had the same car for 10 years, and it's like cool. You do you enjoy your car. If you're enjoying your car, that's all I care about, and you're not forcing your opinion down other people's throat. If you've never crashed it, cool, well done. You're either a very good driver or you're being very gentle on your car, and there's no ifs or buts about that. And that's fine. As I say, there are people I know that have had cars 9 years and not done major damage to them, and I own things 9 minutes and write them off.
And we've noticed this with doing. That's the end of the show season now. We've obviously the first year of doing shows, and you realise that people appreciate bringing a drift car that has maybe a little few scars here and there, still looks okay, and everyone's like, oh, wow, it's great to see an actually used car. Still looks cool.
Yeah.
And that everyone's sick of seeing the finance bags and wheels bill.
Yeah.
It's like, oh,
Bags and bags.
yeah, no, exactly. And it's just, again, they can look cool, but it's refreshing, it seems, still, for a drift car to still look nice and hold its own maybe on a show field.
Completely.
Yeah.
I'm in agreement. Like, used damage is cool,
Yeah.
but unnecessary,
there you go.
unnecessary damage is uncool, and I think that's it.
Moving swiftly on to the piece of resistance of this whole thing is the roast, the Sinclair roast.
Yeah.
I don't know what the sort of sub. I'm imagining flames and sort of some sub genre here of like, but like
Oh, I've got the perfect thing in mind for editing.
the Billy roast or something. Or
Oh.
something along those lines.
What I don't want to do is call this a roast, because I am not here to roast your cars.
Look at the chat. It's absolutely, and it's Mitch as well.
I'll send you a screenshot for that.
Well done, Mitch. You're first up.
But yeah, like
Oh my god.
I'm not here to roast people's cars. People seem to have this obsession with me being the harshest man. No, I just don't like your car, and I'm voicing my opinion
I
about
like
it.
you. I just don't like what
You're
you've
voicing the opinion that they've asked for.
And that's the
well.
main thing. Like, as I say, I put this post out on my Instagram last night on my story, at Tom Sinclair _MNP. Shameless plug. They're going to delete that.
You can hear the snipping now.
It'll be at Tom, and then I'll just cut it.
But yeah, I asked this question yesterday on my Instagram and said, basically, I'm going to do some ratings of cars. Send me your cars and whatever. And it went everywhere on my story. I did like 98 yesterday or something ridiculous.
How many did you get in total?
160 I got sent, but Instagram,
You're insane.
yeah, when you get to 100 stories on Instagram, they start deleting themselves from the start. So I just had to stop. And like, there's like 60 people in my inbox. But I put out a
Today,
story.
we'll do something live.
I put a story out later. These are all new, or not all new, but all
are they actually?
non the ones I've done
All for
yesterday.
this, essentially.
Yeah, they're all for
this is original content.
So I put out another post saying, if you want, I'm going to be doing this on video format tomorrow. Hello, and now we're swearing at your cars.
It's cool that this is the first video rendition of the roast.
Yeah,
essentially.
definitely. And like there'll be a hacked up, shortened version of it, I'm sure.
There'll be many TikToks, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Things like that.
All the TikToks.
So we're going to start off with good old Mitchell.
Mitchell.
Mitxahel, because he can't spell his own fucking name.
We'll put the ats of everyone.
Everyone's ats will be on the screen because I can't be bothered to say them. Yeah.
If you want to see this absolute piece of dog shit.
Now, Mitch's MX-5, here you go, everybody.
Yes, no, I've seen that many times.
Is actually really nice.
He's spent a lot of money.
He spent a lot of money and time on it.
Nicely done, yeah.
But
There we go.
now,
Right.
in my opinion, so I only found out this was bagged yesterday when
Did you?
Mitch texted me. I thought it was
right.
static
Oh no.
because he's poor.
A bagged MX-5 to me is just like defeating the purpose of the whole thing.
Exactly that. Like an MX-5 is great because you can get in it and absolutely rail the tits off it, and it will go around every corner and be brilliant.
If you're not
you
blatting
bag
it-
one, you ruin it. And I've had this discussion with a few people in the past. There's a Kyle Meller who's got a grey MX-5 at that bagged Miata or whatever.
Yeah.
And again, I've told him, like, he's turboed his car. In my opinion, that ruins MX-5s because
Yep.
you remove put your foot to the floor, drive it like a lunatic,
Don't lift it off.
and
there.
never lift. And there will be people in the comments that say things like, "Oh, if you have to lift, you're not driving it hard enough." No, if you never lift in a 300 horsepower MX-5, you fucking die.
That's very
That's
true.
it.
That is
There's
so
no ifs
true.
or buts.
And it's not what you'd call a safe car to crash.
It's not a
is it? It is
safe car to
paper
crash.
bag.
Anyway, back to Mitch.
Hello, Mitch.
So he's bought these work wheels. I can never remember what they are. They Emotion T7Rs or something.
Yes.
Big dishy chrome.
Yes.
Them.
They're all very similar.
They're all the same.
They're all chrome lipped and dishy.
For some reason, he's bought white ones, which means they're impossible to clean. Again, not a problem. That's kind of cool. They don't fucking fit. You've made them fit with air ride and camber, and like
Slightly too tilty boy, I suppose.
it's a little bit too tilty for me.
Stanced.
That's fine. I think they're also the ugliest work wheel that's been released in the last few years. There's lots of better looking wheels and lots of better second-hand wheels. I don't understand why you'd spend £3,000 of your hard-earned apprenticeship wage, Mitch, on terrible wheels.
That was a shot across the bow. Fuck you.
You've also painted it Mazda Soul Red, which
the
is
least original thing in the
the
world.
least original colour of all time. Hello, Max Warren. And then
You can't say that now. He hasn't got it anymore.
he painted his car that colour, though.
He did. Yeah, he did do that.
And then he's gone and thrown the Mazda Speed catalogue at it.
Yes, he
which,
has.
Again, not so much of an issue if you're 74. No one
Yeah.
under the age of 30 cares, except for you, Mitch, you idiot. So, fair enough, you do you, but your wheels are shit, you've picked a crap paint colour, and you're 80. I don't understand it at all. Like,
That's the summary of that.
cool show car. Cool show car, but
I'm just sitting
fucking
here
don't
feeling the burn,
understand.
it's not even me.
I feel the heat radiating.
The ironic thing is he sent me a list of things that are wrong with it. And he said
he knows
bags, big wheels, sun strip, uninsured, because he can't afford to insure it
That is
because
rich.
he's fucking
That
poor.
got trailered down to a barbecue.
By his dad, Big John.
Yeah, I know.
Big John's a good man.
He said, "Do you need fuel?" He said, "No, it's got loads of fuel in it." Did it have fuel in it for the show the next day? No.
No, Mitch is useless. And his accent is unbearable as well. He's from the wrong part of Birmingham.
He
and
is
he's
from the wrong part of
a young
Birmingham.
white child, and it's terrible. Right, let's move on from Mitxahel. Who
we got?
sent me next? We had Jack McNeill. Boris the Micra. Right,
Surely that's too.
it's too easy.
You're falling into a trap.
Well, no, actually, okay. Here's a challenge. One word. One word for that.
I was told I wasn't
As
allowed
soon
to
as I saw the reach for the mic, I was like, "Oh."
We know what's coming.
So Boris the Micra, there is inherently a lot wrong with it, and there's a lot wrong with it because it was built by.
The
It was
internet.
made to be ironic.
It was made to be ironic by a car community poll on TikTok. Well done to Jack for utilising the community.
He created a whole brand around that challenge, essentially, which is great. Like, that's very interesting.
But unfortunately, you haven't really moved on, have you, Jack? This is still your whole brand a year down the line. You're going off to uni now. I know this because I tow your cars, unfortunately, and I have to look at them in my rearview mirror. And it's going to go nowhere.
She's left you. Move on.
She has left you. Move on.
Stop grovelling. Maybe she'll come
That's
back
the
one
thing.
day.
Boris has finite capability to be in the hearts of the car community, And it's gone from being ironic and cool because it was built by the community to now an eyesore.
We've also realised that the only people that seem to want to buy the merch
are children.
Literal.
Yeah.
Out of the womb.
He did incredibly well at Adam Seafest because that is his demographic. 7-year-olds. Hello, Adam.
Shout out to Adam. The only way you can make that cooler, Jack, is by basically
scrapping it.
No, I was going to say, I want to see a piston come through the head. I want to see a piston.
It's had 4 engines.
It needs a stress test.
It keeps blowing up.
Okay.
Oh,
but it needs a stress test to death where it launches like Dukes of Hazzard off a creek. And
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, I'm pretty certain I could get him to scrap.
I want
the
it
car.
on its roof.
I like how not a single bad word has actually been said about the car. I've not picked at anything, but I have managed to insult Jack McNeill for some time frame. Next, we have, well, he can't spell shitbox, but shixbox. That's how he spelled his Instagram. Shixbox. Yeah, he's done well there. With his A86, which he sent a video of, so you're now going to get fucking limiter noise, assumedly. No, he sent a video of him drifting around about that. Can fuck off. No straight O on here. You're not allowed to commit a crime. Here it is. So it's an A86 that looks like it's been crashed.
I quite like that.
I saw this at Autofest this year, which is why I wound up. Am I following the guy? Following the guy.
Oh.
Rare. I don't even follow Entity. You can check. You can check.
Do you
that.
not?
Absolutely not.
Get the
think
fuck
I do.
off right now.
Seriously, this is pausing whilst you follow. Why are you not
Get
following
the fuck off
I
this
think
sofa.
I do follow you.
Oh my God.
I was gonna say,
The very platform that you're on right now, you're not.
I don't condone anything this channel does.
Yeah.
So,
Our
I
sick
fixed
viewers
it.
are mad.
I fixed it.
Bro.
I just unfollowed you. Do you want to remove Entity as a follower? Yes. No.
Oh,
You do that.
Yeah,
actually
you
remove
can.
us following you.
Yeah.
Wow.
let's do that to,
Anyhow.
to Midnight Club.
Right, back to old shitbox spelled wrong. 2-door dart.
So I'm also controversial. I quite like an old battered
Yeah, that's
86.
cool.
So this comes back to a discussion we had earlier, which is like, it's cool if it's battered because it's used. And this has clearly got like a new front end on it, new front bumper, wing, what looks to be a fiberglass headlight. Don't understand that one. It's probably a cover, but you know, whatever people decide to do. Oh God, reels. But yeah, it just looks a bit like half-assed, like you've started to fix it and not bothered. And that's,
Or he started one thing, then started another thing, and not finished the thing before.
yeah, it looks like one of my cars, where he's just gone, I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to do this. And that is wrong. Don't do that. I'm a dick.
Do as I say, not as I do.
Fix something properly first, move on. But I mean, we are all culprits of that, to be honest.
Yeah, exactly. Whoa, mama!
Nice
She was
rust.
rusty.
We definitely need a picture of that to put in, because what we're seeing there is...
I'm not putting anything else in the edit, just that picture.
Yeah, okay, so I'm actually going through this man's Instagram photo.
Well, at least we know why he hasn't done anything else, because he spent all his money on rust repair.
Fair play.
And that's fair enough. Like,
He
if it's
saved that,
yeah,
right,
if it's
like-
on the road and that, like, but this is the big thing with these like reviews is normally you're taking them at face value.
Yeah.
He sent me his car in a story yesterday, and it would have just been that one photo off of his story.
So we'll
But
go
because
off
the
that.
story has deleted itself, I have to go through his Instagram to find a photo of the car, which means I can't take it at face value, and I've got further information. And now we know it's used and it's had rust repair and he's putting it back together. Well done, that man. Like, totally fair enough. Cool.
That sort of fits the bill with that.
Yeah,
doesn't it,
just
really?
paint your car because it looks crap, and get rid of that fucking awful front bumper as well. I understand some people it looks like a good line one or something. I understand some people like that look, but without the skirts and without anything else,
Yeah.
it's just a bit like it doesn't match. Just make it one look, and it's a thing in 86s. I don't know. I don't like them that much. I want one, but like I want an 86.
I don't like it, but I really want one.
Well, I want an 86 because I've got KE70s,
True.
and like it's the next step, and they are the same underneath.
Hmm.
And one costs $6,000, and one costs 16 grand, and I don't
Yeah,
think
not
I don't
worth
think
the
they
time.
warrant the cost. Well done for rescuing what is a classic. Will Housen with his GTI. No, his story has been deleted. I cannot be bothered to go and find it.
You're not
Peter, Mr. BT Doggo, has sent us God's vehicle.
That looks very similar to his, yeah.
I'll be honest, That is the raciest vehicle I've ever seen in my life.
That's top notch.
For those of you that are listening in for some fucking reason, it's a hedgehog on wheels. That's it. No ifs, no buts.
Best car in his collection.
Best car in his collection. I'm going to be honest, that hedgehog could do with lowering it a little bit. Fuck yeah!
Don't need anything else. Oh,
We've got
pretty mid.
Toyota Paseo.
Yeah, a Toyota Paseo.
Toyota Pusio.
with extra lip.
I was gonna say, you've not given that enough P. From Kyle Armodz. Oh, it's
Kyle, come on, what?
Kyle Armo JZX.
Most of this podcast is you trying to pronounce their names.
But because I say them as they are written, and that reads as Kyle Armodz, which is JZX at the end. But he's got his daily Toyota Paseo. Well done for submitting that and not a JZX, because, and anyone who's watching, JZX hundreds are a waste of fucking money. They are £25,000 Mondeos that go slightly sideways sometimes. They're good in Japan. They're good at Ebisu. Do not spend $250,000 on a terrible car.
Well said. And breathe, everyone.
And breathe. It's a waste of time. I own one.
Speaking from experience.
I think this is you do speak from experience from quite a lot of these, which is why it's quite funny.
That's the main thing, and it's like I own some terrible vehicles, but that's why I can pick out what's terrible on yours, because I've made those mistakes many times, and I'm still doing them.
Still making the same mistakes.
But it genuinely is one of those things. Like, I think a JZX 100 is a massive waste of money. I don't think they're worth it. JZ engines are brilliant. They're not worth £8,000. They're 30 years old, and most of them are fucked now, unless they've been rebuilt.
Well, they've all taken a lot of abuse. Yes, they can take it, but
Literally, but they can only take it for so long. They will break. And like Lee, that was here earlier, is a perfect example. That was Lee, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a perfect example. His JZX90 is blown up at the moment, but it's done him like 4 years of fucking
hard abuse.
Absolute
real
beating
abuse.
the crap out of it. That's why they're good practice cars in Japan. Don't understand the love for them over here. It's a Mondeo. Realistically, it's a Japanese domestic Mondeo, a JD Mondeo, JDM.
Yeah, I was about to say, full JDM.
Yeah, quite literally. Anyway, back to this Paseo. One of 50 made, one of 8 on the road. Doesn't change the fact it's dog ugly.
It's rare for a fucking
has
reason.
it got like a teggy lip or something on it?
It does look like it's got a DC5 teggy lip because it doesn't fit in the back corner.
And it's just got what the 86 had. It's like the front is huge and then everything else is just.
It's a very weird shape. I tell you what, it's an EK Civic with the wrong front end on
It
it.
definitely is, yeah.
Whatever the
I
fucking
couldn't find the
coupe
right
saloon
bits
ones.
to.
Yeah, that is a parts bin car, and it's awful. There is a reason they only made 50, and there's a reason there's only 8 on the road, because nobody fucking wants them. Anyway, moving on to the next person. MX54, Menace Miata, Mark Webb. You haven't submitted a car, but I'm going to attack you anyway.
This is a personal thing now, is it?
It is. I'm going to attack Low Origin in a minute as well. Hello, boys.
Should we just hide behind the sofa for that bit?
I'm going to get kicked off of this podcast.
You know that there's going to be like podcast battles at this point because like Low Origin will then just have to call this out.
Well, so what I'm going to state, and this is for Low Origin and anyone, you can have beef with me. Don't have beef with these boys. They've not chosen this. I've attacked you on the internet. Fuck you.
This is a personal thing. It's just
It's
my
not
platform.
a personal thing. It's just funny to attack people.
We're just going to give you the pedestal to do so.
That's it. Yeah, that's exactly it.
Providing a video on the internet that people can watch.
Anyhow, good old Menace Miata, Mark Webb.
The Webby show.
The Webby show. This car looks fucking awful, mate.
It's white.
You've bought a really cool body kit off of a really nice man. Mint is lovely, if not a bit mental. And then you fitted it badly. Your bonnet is in the wrong place, and you've put, for some reason, a BMW engine in an MX-5, which, why didn't you just buy a BMW?
Which would have been cheaper.
Which would have been much cheaper. And then you've put what I'm going to call a third of a livery on the car.
See, I was looking at this the other day.
Sorry, does it say Surtee something?
It just says Surtee and then Gundam Era, and I don't know if Surtee is a sponsor, but that's like, it is what it is. Huxley's done you a really nice cage that actually fits under a hard top, rare as hell. I just don't understand the car, because surely it's not competitive. And I understand you wanting to like todge something together and build it, but you've built the worst looking Gundam Aero car, and surely it drives like arse.
I love the Surty sticker. Do you think he drives with his elbows locked?
Yeah.
Dirty driving.
Dirty driving.
Is another subject altogether. That is a podcast on its own.
You may genuinely need to delete that section because I don't actually want to fight Mark Webb. He's
Yes,
a
you
nice
do.
guy. I get on with him.
No, fine.
But like,
That we will film.
that's fine. Yeah, I'll send him a message and be like, I've attacked you on the internet.
Not be its own reel.
So, low origin.
Hi, boys.
Hello,
Hello.
gentlemen. I get the low thing. And I like a lowered car. It makes sense. But not to the point where it compromises your driving, usability, and everything. You can still have good fitment in your car, not drive like an absolute bag of shit. Sol Del Rio.
This is what no one's addressing. Is like, wow, they're low, great, and they're not actually realising that no, that must feel like absolute shit, like to drive. No,
That's the thing. And like, you guys did a video on Mikey's car.
Yeah, which
That
is low
car
as shit.
drives okay because everything's been moved up.
Yeah.
The
You
low
had to
origin.
weld everything flat.
Yeah. The low origin cars are standard S bodies with like Geo Masters and Destroy drop knuckles bolted into them.
Same as mine. So
Which-
I've there's literally the same setup as me, and I've only just recently added grip and raised it to, so it doesn't look that great anymore in terms of stance life. But, oh my God, does it feel worlds apart? And I was like, why the hell didn't I do that sooner?
That is the thing. Like, and again, I have no issue.
vanity.
Run your car as low as you want, be as stylized as you want, but your car being low isn't the be all and end all of it being cool.
No.
It being part of the ensemble, and at the end of the day, they are drift cars. And other than maybe Dan's, and even Dan looked like he was struggling at Silverstone this year, they're very compromised and undrivable cars. Like, fair play to having fun. You guys did like 2 fucking laps at LZ Fest. An embarrassment. An embarrassment. God, I'm going to get attacked by so many people on the internet.
But it needs to be addressed, I think, because when the whole brand is based around taking the piss out of everyone that's not low enough, but they're driving more consistently and harder than said cars, where's the, there's a bit of an argument there to be had.
Let's have that argument.
But there's also a going the other way.
Yes.
Now, the B-Knuckle boys.
Yes.
I'm not going to call anyone out specifically.
But they appreciate that they are monster trucks.
They're aware they're monster trucks, but there is a little bit of forcing it down people's
Yes.
throats. And that's the issue with low origin as well.
There is no happy medium here. It's either, look at us, we had literally fit our heads in the arch and we're driving really hard, that's great. You've got low origin where the car must feel terrible.
If your
they're
car
very
is
low.
drivable, it's bad.
But it's very low. I've been there. Really doesn't feel that great for the looks. Where's the middle ground? There must be a middle ground.
And there is. The Driftworks cars are a perfect middle. I think that DW32, Martin Richards, everyone will agree that's a good-looking car. It's actually low. It's actually functional, and it's very competitive. And I admit it's got a lot of work in it. But like,
That's what it takes, really.
but it is what it takes. If you want to run your car at that height and it not be awful, it requires effort. And it's not to say the low origin boys haven't put in effort, but they've put it into liveries, not into suspension.
That's so true.
Your cars look very pretty from a distance.
What, 50 foot?
They don't work.
Did you hear that? That was the final nail in the coffin. That was...
But it's the kind of thing that, like, this will either lead to massive internet beef or I'll end up on their podcast. And there's no in between.
We know what happens when you end up on
A
Low Origin podcast.
I fight them on the air.
Like, what is it, wrestling? Or everyone loves boxing on YouTube at the moment.
Yeah.
What, a full Las Vegas fuck style.
3 members of Low Origin versus Thompson.
Man gets beaten to a pulp.
3 men versus 2 pairs of wrinkly hands. Fuck.
You want to touch these hands?
No! Right, who else have we got? Right, we have got Jordan Williams with his S13 underscore Jord Wills.
That's imaginative.
I mean,
The colour's quite interesting, actually.
I do like the effort clearly put into that, to be fair.
I like the wheels. I like the colour. I hate the body kit.
I don't like the wheel
Simple.
combo, personally, but I can respect the wheels, if that makes sense.
You're awfully quiet over there.
Deliberately. So,
Oh, here we go.
I,
Roller coaster.
I don't like this car.
Right.
It embodies everything that S-bodies in the UK is. You have got a RB under the bonnet, which is going to upset the weight distribution. Like, what it is.
No,
Yeah, that's wrong.
That's I have no issue with RBs in S-bodies, but like that clearly looks like a drift car and is set up to be a drift car.
But it's a boat anchor in the front.
It's an absolute anchor of an engine. Like, I love my RB, but it's rubbish. Don't bother.
What are they, like another 100 kilos heavier?
Not that much, but they're not nice.
It's just a noticeable drop.
Yes, yeah.
Drop.
But in the
Especially when
same
something's
way,
50-50 weight distribution.
the front of your car is much lower than the back. And the rear has quite a lot of clearance. You've got absolutely colossal fenders on that all round. And for some reason, you've neglected to make your car sit level. It looks like a ramp on Grand Theft Auto, man. I could ride a BMX up the front of that, do a 360, and then like kill a hooker. For some reason, you've put a 326 wing on it, which is the most basic bitch thing you could possibly do. And
yeah, I do despise the 3D.
And then instead of painting it like a cool version of that colour, you've gone in with the 2K fucking green teal sadness colour and painted all of the lovely lines in your Origin Labo fucking racing line kit out of it. They're gone. That kit is a brilliant looking kit, and you've got rid of all of the accents. It's all personal preference, I would like to point out, but your car looks shit. So
Words of kindness followed by absolute savagery.
deal. Fucking people messaging me about Mondays. Right, Mr. LSE Lou, with 7 U's on the end of it, sending me a E30 with a 1UZ in it that was built by my friend Gino.
Right, so that's like a burnout car in Africa.
Yes, that's pikey as well.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, it's cool, it's tidy. I know it's been in the wall at Driftland before Louis bought it.
That gets some style points, surely.
We've all been there.
Yeah, but it's just unnecessary. Like, it's not unnecessary to build that car. That car is clearly going to be fucking sick to drive.
Yeah.
But why has it got giant 17-inch wheels on it? It's an E30.
Yes,
like
16s, 15s.
They suit a certain look, and that is not it. I think your car looks like a bag of arse. Also, it's red. Every E30 is red. That's cool. But every bit of footage or photo, there's a photo. The photo that I've got submitted has got a bumper on it. There is not a single
I was gonna say,
photo
there's no front
of it
end.
with a bumper on it at any point. If you build your car to look cool, and it subjectively does, the front bumper suits the rest of the bodywork, leave the bumper on, man. Why is it torn off at every opportunity? I know it's probably to save the kit, but like,
What is the point?
what is the point in having a bumper if you're never going to run it? It's the typical E36 owner mentality of, I've got a bash bar, that is a good enough front end. No, it's fucking not. Make
It's
your
there to
car look
support your
good.
front end, yeah.
It never is. Please put a bumper on the front.
Please put a bumper on the car, and that's literally it.
Like, you're scrolling through these pictures. Yes, it looks really cool when it's all together.
The car is sick, like really cool build, but like, why has it got
It's
no
you
bonnet?
that's the problem.
Why has it got no bonnet on it? Why has it got no bumper on it? It is the problem. That
Well, it is the standard BMW overheating problem, isn't it? I bet you. And it's just like, no, I need no front end.
but it's got a 1UZ in it, so it shouldn't
Yeah,
overheat.
it's not got that issue.
They've deleted the absolute kettle that is the BMW M50, and they've put in a good engine, and he's still got the whole front end off. And I know the car didn't overheat when Gino built it or owned it, so why is it overheating when you do? What is wrong? Right, we've got BMW F20. How many X's are in that name?
1, 2.
Suxon.
What does it even mean?
Sean
I've just looked
Carter.
at the car as well.
It's Sean Carter,
And it said,
isn't it?
go on, pal, do your worst. No. Just,
So it's just an invisible car, isn't it?
it is.
Yeah.
You've got fucking black invisible wheels that don't fit. They are poking out.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, you've got
Pokey.
black wheels are cool if it's 1996 and you're a drug dealer. It's 2022. That is a 1 Series with an M Sport Grail badge thing on it, and
That
it's
is a starter pack for want to be a drug dealer.
yeah,
I'm only selling weed right now. That's why I can only afford a 1 Series.
exactly that. It's
That is the takeover machine, isn't it?
That is the
That
takeover
is
machine.
all
I
you
bet
see. That is
you
the
go to car meets, do burnouts in crowds, and then do bad donuts.
That is a first gear mini roundabout outside the B&Q meet.
Yup.
That car, basically.
With quad bikes going around. Like,
Hell to the fucking yeah.
I guarantee it'll take 2 scrolls on his Instagram to find
Yeah,
that
let's
link.
go on his Instagram. Oh, it's a private account, so I can't see him being an absolute... I can't use the C word, can I?
Watch. That's so
Forget the
close to
sofa
the
is
edge.
on wheels.
Now that'll be an ending to the podcast.
Bye, guys.
I've just screamed down the mic as well.
Must be amazing.
But yeah, just to come back to that and the takeovers outside B&Q. If you do that, you're that word.
It's a good way to wrap up this podcast, to be honest. We've had a nice little roasting here. Car meets, in general, I think it's because of the Adam C's of the world. The
Yeah,
car spotters
absolutely.
have created this apparently coolness to be caught doing what can only be described as terrible street antics. I mean, like,
Yeah.
I'm really cool because I've got a green 240 or whatever it is.
M240i coupe with black wheels and a black
I
bonnet.
wonder who we could be talking about.
What the fuck is your life? Like, stop doing it. It's not cool. And the only people you are impressing are probably 17-year-olds.
Yeah,
Who can't
14-year-old
drive.
girls.
Yeah.
It's very, I'm in complete agreement. The one thing I'd like to move on with that is, you've said the Adam C's of the world. He's a great example. He does blur people's plates. He does try not to get you caught. But if you're consistently doing dumb shit, it will be, whether it's Adam, whether it's someone else, it doesn't actually matter. You're putting yourself in the eyes of the law as dangerous. That's it. We've all been involved in street drifting over the years, I'm sure, except for Jack, who can't drive.
I don't know what you're on about.
Yeah, never committed any crime.
Never been involved in that.
But like, you do it on your own. You don't document it.
The fundamental point was you'd meet up with your friends, you'd just privately do stuff. But now it's, on the stories, the location's been released, and you have a million puntos and things on the side of the road, blinding you anyway. So
and then some absolute mong in his fucked RX-8 that's got compression on one rotor, going "Meh, pa, 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 pa," in first gear, looking like an absolute twat.
I honestly felt the tears forming when the last story I saw was I think it's a mini roundabout in Kent, and there were multiple stories of this is what UK streeto drifting is all about, and it's just some guy in a smashed up E36 just going first gear, not even completing it, straightening up on the roundabout and then going. I'm like, are you fucking joking?
It's
not. I know in the grand scheme of things we're meant to be old heads and, you did it years ago, you don't do it anymore. Just please do yourself a favour. Just go out with your mates and learn to go fast and change into second gear maybe.
Well, it's not even the skids, because there was that one, they did a Leeds takeover, and then on the Snapchat thing, somebody said, race to Manchester, and 200 cars went to Manchester down the M62 at plus 100. You just go, why? What is the point?
This is another big thing in the UK. They keep closing our tracks. They keep...
Because you're a twat.
Literally that. You are the reason they are closing our tracks. Because track days make noise. That's not an issue. Neighbours who move close to those tracks aren't annoyed at the noise. They're annoyed at the fact you've been razzing it up and down the road, and they cannot differentiate between the two, so the council have to close the venue that congregates those people.
Because it's attracting the Fiesta STs racing to and from seeing their mate do a skid. And it's
Pretty much,
the
yeah.
reason, for example, Liddon Hill is now an absolute mess and you don't want to go drifting there is because people are dumping tyres, people are still skidding away from the venue. Usually the people that are...
Toby.
Usually the people that weren't actually drifting though. It would be people that turned up, can't actually do proper drifting, so they'll peel out of the actual venue and fuck it up completely for the actual people that want to drift. I need to breathe.
And that is quite literally it. The venues aren't necessarily an issue. The people that go to these venues and think that the locals are the issue are the issue. You're pinning the blame on the wrong person
here. If you're saying it's
here.
shit, it's you.
It quite literally, if you cannot see the crazy person on the bus, you are the crazy person on the bus. And that applies exactly to this. If you cannot see the problem with the local area and the cars community, you are the problem.
Mint.
On that lovely note, I think that's podcast one sort of,
Yeah.
and roast one with Mr. Sinclair.
Roast
done.
one. Oh, there's going to be multiple.
Let us know what you thought.
Yeah.
You know, we're going to have everything in the description of, you know, who we spoke about and everything. Feel free to message,
Message
Tom.
me with your opinions.
And us.
They're wrong.
Yeah.
Do you want to see more of this? Do you want to see more of Tom? Is there room for more podcasts in this niche? We think so. Yeah, we'll see you on the next one.
Sick.
Bye.
That's a wrap.